Most women think lowering cortisol means meditating for hours or quitting caffeine completely. But what if I told you there are faster, more effective ways to regulate your stress hormones? In this video, I'm sharing 5 powerful, unexpected ways to lower cortisol quickly, including one method that actually involves eating more carbs. Yes, really. Make sure to watch until the end because I'll be sharing the cortisol balancing strategy I personally use that's helped me and my clients recover from burnout and regain energy. Hi, I'm Lesha, a nutritionist specializing in burnout recovery for high-achieving women. After struggling with burnout myself and helping women reset their stress hormones, I know exactly how to lower cortisol naturally and get your energy back. Let's get started. Number 1. Get sunlight in the first 30 minutes of waking. Most women don't realize this, but your circadian rhythm plays a huge role in regulating your cortisol levels and energy throughout the day. When you wake up, your body's natural cortisol production is at its peak, helping you feel alert and energized to start the day. But if you don't get sunlight soon after waking up, your cortisol rhythm gets disrupted, leaving you feeling sluggish and off balance. Morning sunlight is one of the easiest, most natural ways to regulate your cortisol and set your body up for stable energy. When sunlight hits your eyes, it sends a signal to your brain, telling your body that it's time to wake up and start the day. This helps to reset your circadian rhythm and stabilize your cortisol, so you feel more alert in the morning and experience less of that wired but tired feeling later in the day. If you skip this step and don't get sunlight in the first 30 minutes of waking, your cortisol rhythm stays out of sync, leading to low energy in the morning and high cortisol in the evening. This means that you might feel wired and tired at night, but exhausted during the day. Sound familiar? A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that natural light exposure in the morning helps to regulate cortisol and improve sleep cycles. It showed that getting sunlight within the first 30 minutes of waking promotes a more stable energy, enhances mood, and supports the body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Now, how can you incorporate this into your daily routine? It's simple. Just step outside within 30 minutes of waking, even if it's cloudy or overcast. Your body doesn't need full sun to benefit from the light. It just needs that exposure to natural light. Aim for about 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight on your skin and eyes to get the full benefits. If you live in a place with long winters or cloudy days, you can use a bright light therapy lamp. These lamps mimic natural sunlight and are an effective way to regulate cortisol levels and get your body back on track, even when the weather doesn't cooperate. Number 2, avoid fast and intense workouts first thing in the morning. Exercising on an empty stomach can actually cause more harm than good when it comes to cortisol levels. When you work out first thing in the morning without eating in an extreme way, your body sees this as a stressful event. It spikes cortisol and keeps stress hormones elevated longer than necessary. This happens because your body is in a fasted state, and the adrenal glands release cortisol to help you handle the stress. While this is natural, your cortisol stay high for too long, it can actually lead you to feeling more wired and fatigued later in the day. This becomes even more problematic if you're already in burnout mode. When cortisol is chronically elevated, it leads to feelings of fatigue, irritability, and increased stress. Instead of helping your body feel energized, it exacerbates burnout symptoms, leaving you feeling drained and worn out. Additionally, activities like HIIT training or long cardio sessions can further increase cortisol. These high-intensity workouts might feel empowering at first, but in the long run, they make your body more wired and fatigued, and the stress hormones just keep piling up. It's a vicious cycle that doesn't let your body recover. The solution here is simple. Swap high-intensity workouts for lower-impact exercises that don't spike cortisol unnecessarily. Try replacing fasted HIIT or cardio sessions with strength training, walking, or yoga. These exercises are much easier on your body and will still provide results without overloading your system. If you absolutely love your fasted workouts, keep them gentle. Consider doing light stretching or some gentle movement in the morning instead of pushing yourself too hard. Your body will thank you for it. If you really want to do HIIT or cardio in the morning, make sure to fuel your body first. Have a small meal with protein or carbs before you work out. This will give your body the energy that it needs to perform without triggering a cortisol spike. You'll still get your workout in, but without the negative impact on your stress hormones. Number 3, delay caffeine intake by 90 minutes after waking. We all love that morning cup of coffee to get us going, but drinking caffeine first thing in the morning actually spikes cortisol and disrupts your body's natural rhythm. When you wake up, your cortisol is already naturally high, helping you feel alert and energized. But when you consume caffeine too early, it interferes with your body's ability to regulate cortisol effectively. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine, which is the compound that makes you feel tired. But when it blocks adenosine too early in the morning, it messes with the natural cortisol curve. Your body's cortisol levels should naturally rise in the morning to help you wake up, but when caffeine is consumed too early, your body starts depending on it to feel alert, rather than relying on your natural energy. This is the problem, especially if you're already dealing with burnout. When cortisol is constantly high from too much caffeine early in the day, it can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and sleep problems later. It's a cycle of relying on caffeine to wake up, then needing more caffeine just to get through the day, leading to energy crashes and disrupted sleep. To fix this, simply delay your caffeine intakes by 90 minutes after waking. By waiting, you allow your body to regulate its cortisol naturally before introducing caffeine. This helps your body stay in sync with its natural rhythm and prevents that wired but tired feeling. Instead of rushing to the coffee pot first thing in the morning, try starting your day with water or an electrolyte drink to help you rehydrate your body. This allows your body to naturally begin processing cortisol without interference. After 90 minutes, when cortisol levels have started to naturally fall, your body will be in a better position to handle the effects of caffeine, which means you won't experience that crash later. Number 4, cold exposure, aka the cortisol flush. Cold exposure is a powerful tool for managing cortisol levels and resetting your nervous system. When you expose your body to cold, whether through a cold shower or a quick cold plunge, it activates the vagus nerve, which helps shift your body from fight or flight mode into a more rest and digest state. This process helps lower cortisol and reduces the stress your body is holding on to. Cold exposure also boosts dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in mood regulation and stress resilience. By exposing your body to the cold, you're not just helping your stress hormones, but you're also supporting a better mood and increased energy levels. Moreover, regular cold exposure helps with reducing inflammation, improving circulation, and supporting overall physical recovery. It's a great way to reset your body and mind quickly, especially if you've been in a high stress state for an extended period. Cold exposure isn't just about surviving stress. It's about thriving in a stress-filled world. Start simple. Take a cold shower for 30 to 60 seconds at the end of your regular shower. The key is to gradually expose yourself to the cold, allowing your body to adjust over time. If you want to push it further, you can try a 5-minute cold plunge in the morning to quickly regulate your stress hormones. If you don't have access to a cold plunge, don't worry. You could just use your shower for a minute or two at the end of your regular routine. Personally, I use the Hydrogun Super Tub for my cold plunges, which has made it much easier to get that deep recovery and reduce my cortisol fast. If you want to check it out for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below. Even a small amount of cold exposure will trigger the vagus nerve, lower cortisol, and help reset your nervous system. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology showed that cold exposure can actually reduce cortisol levels and improve the body's stress response. The research highlighted that cold exposure triggers the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is essential for relaxation and recovery. This process helps shift the body's natural stress response, making it easier to manage cortisol levels and lower stress. Number 5, carb cycling for cortisol regulation, the CCCC protocol. Carbs often get a bad reputation, especially when people are trying to lose weight or manage stress. But the truth is, carbs play a huge role in regulating cortisol and stabilizing your energy levels. When you cut carbs too drastically or eat them at the wrong times, it can elevate cortisol and stress levels, which is a common mistake that I see many women make when trying to manage burnout. On the flip side, too many carbs, especially refined sugars and processed carbs, can trigger blood sugar spikes, which cause cortisol to rise, leading to fatigue, sugar cravings, and even weight gain. What most women don't realize is that the timing of carbs is crucial. If you eat carbs at the wrong times, you risk disrupting your cortisol cycle. But when you align your carb intake with your body's natural cortisol rhythm, you can stabilize energy, lower cortisol levels, and help your body recover from burnout. This is where the 4Cs protocol, or carb cycling for cortisol control, comes in. The 4Cs protocol is designed to help you time your carb intake in a way that supports cortisol regulation throughout the day. Instead of cutting carbs completely or eating them at random times, the protocol provides a structured approach to eating carbs that aligns with your body's natural rhythm. It's about strategically timing your carbs to help your body regulate cortisol naturally, leading to more stable energy and better stress management. I want to know, which one of these cortisol lowering strategies are you excited to try first? Is it the cold exposure, delaying caffeine, or maybe adjusting your carb intake? Drop a comment below and let me know what you're most eager to implement in your routine. Now imagine waking up feeling refreshed, no longer relying on caffeine or sugar to get you through the day. Picture yourself moving through your day with steady energy, without those energy crashes, brain fog, or stress cravings. You're no longer struggling with those afternoon slumps, and your cortisol levels are balanced, not out of control. What happens when you balance cortisol naturally through strategic choices, like using carbs, cold exposure, and proper caffeine timing, is that you begin to feel more present, more energized, and more in control. Burnout becomes a thing of the past as you reclaim your vitality, regulate your stress hormones, and get back to being the best version of yourself. This is what happens when you align with your body's natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. You'll feel in control of your stress response and finally experience the calm, clear energy that you've been craving. If you're ready to stop feeling exhausted and start using the right strategies to lower cortisol naturally, I've created something special just for you. Download my free guide from exhausted to energized. In this guide, I'll walk you through exactly how to align your carb intake and adjust caffeine timing to lower cortisol, stabilize your energy, and finally break free from burnout. So now that you know how to lower cortisol and manage stress, the next step is learning how stress fat works and why it's not just about diet or exercise. That's why you need to watch my next video. I'm going to reveal the real reason stress causes weight gain and share what you could do about it. If that video is already available, you can click on the end screen to watch it next. If not, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll know exactly when it's released. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.